back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. So yes, y'all, we are doing a series review here. Okay, episode 2. I did episode 1. That's like way back in the cut, y'all. I am trying to get back on track with all my, there's just so much stuff out there, y'all, which I'm very excited about. Of course, that is like what I'm here for, but it's like, okay, well, love, you got to do better with keeping track of everything. And I started reviewing this series like many months ago. Okay, y'all will see episode 1 like back in the cut in my video history. Okay, and I have not forgotten about this series, just like I haven't forgotten about quite a few other series that I started on this channel, and I'm just like getting back on track. Okay, y'all, this week, okay, still trying to keep track of everything, but yeah, pray for me, all right? But anyways, yes, this series is titled Steps of Faith, Hope's Journey. You can actually find it premiering on Pureflix, and keep the series in y'all prayers, just like I did with County Rescue. Okay, and we got a season 2 coming. We need a season 2 of Steps of Faith, Hope's Journey here. I really do love this series, like just loving it so far, and I do want to see the story continue on. So yes, y'all, keep this in y'all prayers. But let me just go ahead and let y'all know what it's about, because I know it's been a minute. All right, Faith and Marshall's daughter Hope learns to use her God-given gift on the Steps of Faith farm. And if y'all remember, there's a film titled Steps of Faith. I actually reviewed that film as well. That is Marshall and Faith's story, and that is Marshall and Faith's story, and they are the parents of Hope here on this TV series. It is like getting a continuation of their story, which is so amazing, like the coolest thing in the world, because Steps of Faith, the film, is so amazing and beautiful, and it's like, wow, we get a little bit of closure here because their story continues in a sense, because we get to see, okay, they actually made it, you know, they married, they had a little girl, and their little girl is grown up now. I think she's probably like in her college years, like maybe late teens or something, or early 20s. She's somewhere in that arena, okay? And right off the bat, like, you just love Hope here in this series. She does have a gift, and that's why I'm like, okay, we just need more of this series. A gift where she has to wear it, like, she has a God-given gift where she can see into the very hearts of people if she makes contact with them. And at the same time, if her contact is too long, she can not only see into their hearts, but she can also like take on a bit of their burdens, you know, like their pain and different things that they may be experiencing, you know, that y'all know, that secret stuff that y'all don't tell nobody about, that's in y'all heart. Okay, Faith can see into all of that, all right, if she makes contact with you. So she is wearing these gloves, you know, throughout this entire series to make sure she doesn't, you know, have contact with people like that, because as you can tell, it could be a lot. I mean, we as people, we carry a lot of different things. We carry so much of our history within us. I mean, that soul is a lot. What's in your heart is a lot. So can you imagine, like, if you had that kind of gift, making contact with someone, if you actually touch them, like, you take on all of that is going on inside of a person, especially nowadays. I mean, people got too much going on. I would not want to be like taking on all of that when you already got enough stuff within yourself that you got to handle and deal with. So that in itself is very intriguing. I love that it is supported by the word of God here, because it's not like this fantasy, or like even one of the characters here in this episode, Clark, even asked her, is this like a superpower or something? And she's like, no, it's a gift from God. So totally different than some fantasy type of deal that's more on the individual. No, this is more of Hope's relationship with God, and just the gift that he's given her that she's using for, well, learning to use for his praise, honor, and glory, you know, as she navigates life and just try to and learn how to, you know, cope with this thing, because she had it since she was very young. And when she was young, she thought of it more of a curse, which you can understand it, because when you're young and you're trying to, you know, just do things like have friends, you got to go to school, obey your parents, all these different things, and then you got that going on inside of you, like, what in the world is going on? I can only imagine what it would be like as a kid growing up with disability, and then you have to, you know, wear gloves, cover your hands, be careful who you touch and different things like that, which is like scriptural, like seriously, because the Bible tells us we need to guard our hearts, you know, because out of it flows the issues of life. So in Hope, even more so, like, she has to be very careful you know, who she's around and who she contacts, because she can take on all of that what's going on inside of them. And can you imagine a young girl dealing with this? So I can understand that she thought of it like a curse growing up, but now as an adult she's learning that this is, wow, this is special, this is a gift. And it just reminds me personally, like the gifts that we have from God, that we really shouldn't take them for granted or feel like they are a burden, or feel like you or even feel like, okay, that you're less than in a sense because of what you have going on, what you're dealing with, because you're called, because you're chosen, you're special, you've been set apart. And I feel like this series is going to be teaching us as it continues to go on that you have something special, that you are special with whatever God has chosen to bestow upon you, that you shouldn't take it for granted. You shouldn't take it as a curse. You shouldn't feel burdensome about it, but embrace it. And now you have a responsibility. That's really what it boils down to. Now you have a responsibility, and you just need to grow in that, cultivate that gift and use it for God, and know that it's never about you, that is never you. And I feel like Hope is learning this little by little, because with her choosing to kind of like, you know, go against her parents in a sense, like her dad wanted her to be a doctor, I believe, her mom wanted her to be a veterinarian, and although that may sound like a cool thing, it's definitely something, you know, to keep you stable as you living your life. That's a source of income. But Hope has decided to stay on her parents' farm and allow Bill to teach her all the ins and outs of the farm. She feels like God has called her to this thing, and somehow he's going to use it. Somehow her gifts are going to, you know, be appreciated or be cultivated more by just being on this farm. And this farm has become not only just a safety, well, a refuge and a place of learning, a place of like hope in a sense to other people, because they use the horses, you know, to bring healing to the different kids who have some kind of disability, you know, that type of deal. But also we learn in this episode that it can be used in a different way here, because here we meet Clark in this episode, and Clark is a kid who has a lot of baggage. He's dealing with a lot. He's not a bad kid, but right off the bat, with what he's done, taking a weapon at school for whatever reason, whatever his intentions was, we don't really know. But the judge, he do go before a judge, and the judge is like, okay, like he's kind of like, I don't know, what should I do? Is like he's really trying to search this kid out, see if this is actually a good kid that just happened to get in something, or is this a kid that's just set on being rebellious and living that type of life. And so he does give him a chance based on, you know, the testimony of his lawyer who was representing him. Also his mom was there and was like, you know, pleading on his behalf. That's really insane to the judge. You know, he's a really good kid. And so the judge decides to send him to Steps of Faith farm, you know, and gives him 30 days to get himself together. He can't have no contact with the outside world here or family and friends. He just needs to focus on his healing, you know, here. And so he does send him there, and there he does meet Hope here. And so Hope is taking on this responsibility. This is like her very first project in a sense, so she's excited about it. She, you know, has her hopes and dreams in her mind of how this can turn out, but of course you never really know how something can turn out unless you're right there in the situation. And so when Clark does come there, he does come there with that same bit of attitude, a bit of that aggression that he had, you know, from court. Yes, he's grateful not to have to, you know, be incarcerated, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like nothing in his mind really changed here. And so when he arrives at the farm, he does have a bit of that there. You can tell a little bit of a rebellious streak there. And so, but I can tell with Hope's very calm and gentle spirit that, you know, you can tell it's a little bit different. Nevertheless, y'all, he gets here and just start acting on the fool, like really on the phone, or he ain't supposed to be on his cell phone, on the phone, being rebellious, not wanting to get up and do his chores, avoiding responsibility at every end of the spectrum. Here he's avoiding everything, and he don't want to do anything, seem like a lazy bone, just want to lay around, because Hope has kind of put him under Alex leadership here, because Alex worked on the farm, and you can tell Alex has a story himself. He could have been probably in Clark's situation some time ago, and this farm has helped him, and he's, you know, decided to stay on for whatever reason. But yeah, so he's doing his part. Alex is doing his part. Another young kid here waking him up, telling him to get up. We got chores. We got to do this. We got to do that. And Clark is just like, throwing the covers over his head. Doesn't really want to deal with it. I mean, we understand. And it starts to show because we have Belle here, who was actually on the film, came from the film too, Steps of Faith. So she is still on the farm running it for Marshall and Faith and being a little bit of a guardian for Hope here. And she starts to see too that Clark, this may not be the solution for him, that he doesn't seem like he wants to participate. He's not engaging at all. So she goes to Hope, and a little bit of a annoyance, frustration spirit here, and just like, you say you were gonna talk to him, like what is going on? Like she's getting fed up because it's enough to, y'all know the responsibilities of having a farm and different things like that. Of course, I don't really know firsthand, but I can imagine that it's a lot of work here, and she ain't got time to be trying to run around here chase some kid who obviously don't want to be here. Like, you can't make somebody do what they don't want to do. If it's set in their mind and they don't want the help, it's like, what can you do? And she just like, if it's gonna be that way, let's just hurry up and get him on to the rest of his journey. This could be a space for somebody else who really wants to help and who's willing to put in the work here. So I understand Belle's frustration, and she goes to Hope about it, and Hope is just like a little bit frustrated because Hope just had a wonderful conversation with God here. So Hope had a wonderful conversation with God and talking to him and just like wanting God to use her to get to Clark in some kind of way to help him, whatever it is, like get him to open up to her. She doesn't really know how to go about doing it. She knows that she sees some good there. She sees some potential. She just doesn't know the right way of how to draw it out of him. So she goes to God in prayer, which I love this. And I have to say about this show thus far that I love that prayer is so embedded in this show. Like, the characters are really relying on God here and living a life that we're living. We work, whatever you work, you go to school, you're just living life. And it's good to see that even in the midst of their daily routine, that they invite God into the situation, that they take some time to like be still and know that he is God. And I really do appreciate that, y'all. I just love that. And this show just gives all peace to me. Just watching it, episode 2 here, it just like reeks peace, and you just feel like that connection, and you just want to pick up your Bible as well and just sit there, under him, and let your Father just talk with you about whatever he wants to, and you just share your heart with him, all that good stuff. So little by little, like, okay, at the end of episode 1, I have to say that ended kind of like on this cliffhanger, because Hope had forgot to put on her gloves when she was running to deal with Clark here. She sees him going off somewhere into the farm, like in a bit of a rage, so she rushes off and leaves her gloves and make contact with him, and they both like pass out. And so episode 2, it starts, I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but hey, y'all know how we do. But anyways, on episode 2, it starts off that way. Like, Hope is, she's awake now, and she asks Belle how long has she been out, and Belle reveals to her it's been 2 days. She was like, what, 2 days? Like, it literally felt like it was just a few minutes to her that she was kind of out of it. And so in this episode, she reveals to Clark, because Clark is like a little bit afraid. When that contact happened, not only did Hope feel it, but something inside of something inside of Clark, something inside of Clark like shifted, y'all. Like, something happened inside of him. So he's a bit confused, a little afraid, like, what in the world is going on, all right? I'm like, you're in the Twilight Zone, honey. So anyway, so Hope knew that she had to explain to Clark here in this episode, like, what really transpired. So she let him know that she does have a special gift from God, and upon contact, she can see into a person's heart. So Clark does. Like, I can see he's kind of like feeling her out. And that's when he asks, like, is this some kind of superpower or something? She's like, no, it's a gift from God. But he kind of like, okay, I felt like that it did something. It brought about a calmness in him, and he felt a little bit like secure that he can open up to Hope here. And so he asked, Hope, like, what did she see? Like, what did she see in him? Because he was dealing with some things. He was going through some stuff, and for whatever reason, he just wasn't letting it out. He didn't have a safe place that he could talk about these things. And so he reveals, even though Hope kind of knew, like, she saw something like happen, between his father. on with his father, whatever. So he reveals here that, you know, his father's no longer in his life. His father has passed on, and he feels like it's his fault. So he's been carrying around for who knows how long this guilt of his dad not being there anymore because of him and his dad dying, you know, trying to please him. And so you can imagine how that could weigh on anyone, but especially a kid here. So it's starting to make a little bit more sense. I hope it's starting to understand him a little bit more. And so there was a little connection there, and she let him know that she was willing to help him. And Clark in this case was like, you know, he wants to help, and he's willing to do whatever it is that Hope lays out for him. So we start to see this transition slowly but surely in this episode of Clark, you know, becoming a little bit more agreeable here. Like be nicer, like you start to see him smile more. You saw more of a gentleness here, like that rebellious streak. I didn't see it, so it was starting to fade off, and I appreciated that. I was like, wow, this kid is really changing. So he comes to the end of his program and completes it, and that was like so super cool, y'all. And I love here, like, you know, in completion, like Hope, you know, has this little get together. They sit around a table, they read the word of God. And Mark, which you're gonna read it in, right? And they share, you know, their different takes on it. What is God speaking to them in that moment? And I just love that. I mean, I love the sharing of the word, and we doing it over food. Yay, honey. Okay, so that was like so cool and sweet. And then on top of that, okay, ooh, I love this. On top of that, like Hope took Clark to meet Big Mama, since this is his last day there, and they were gonna have a meal with her. They had collard greens, they had mac and cheese, fried chicken, and some iced tea. Ooh, that thing looked so cold. Ooh, I was like, y'all, Hope, girl, why you invite Blood? I mean, I've been here with y'all too. I've been here with, I seen the whole deal with Clark Hill, okay? I was a part of this journey, all right? Why you did not invite me to Big Mama's house, okay? I want me some soul food here, okay? What's up, okay? Invite me there next time, all right? So anyways, I love that how it ends, like this episode ends, like, you know, he completes the program, and Hope main thing that she wanted him to take with him on his journey, you know, as he leaves the Steps of Faith Forum is God. Like, don't forget him. And so Clark really leaves there with so much, you know, so much more than what he came there with, obviously. Left there with healing, but left there with a desire to know God and an encounter with God that he had here on this forum. So that was just amazing, y'all. So all of that happened, and let me tell y'all, one of the good things about this show thus far, that the episodes are less than 30 minutes. They're really, really short, sweet, to the point. But at the same time, I can tell that the directors, the writers here really crammed in a good bit of stuff for us, you know, in such a short period of time. And you feel that. You don't feel like it's rushed. You feel like it's longer than what it is. But in a good way. You feel like you left it fed and full. Y'all know y'all have like a home cooked meal. Yeah, that's how this feels. Like you had a really home cooked meal that was laid out, that was prepared, all that good stuff. But at the same time, it didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like it dragged on longer than what it should have been or anything. Like, I'm just like, it just leaves you wanting more. Like, seriously, okay? Yeah, but with all of that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into our scripture before I leave y'all for the day, since we're already 18 minutes in. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I talked that much. But anyway, y'all know how we do. I just be trying to let y'all know what's up, okay, without leaving out nothing, all right? But we coming out of Mark chapter 4, verse 39, and it reads, "Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm." That's all I have y'all for this video. That's episode 2. We are definitely going to get into the other episodes. I don't know when, but at some point we're going to do that because I'm still doing movie reviews. I still got to go back to the Baxter series. I mean, yeah, your girl got a lot going on, okay? But I know we all here for the ride. It's a fun ride. It is. So y'all remember to leave y'all thoughts, your prayers, your overall take in the comment section below. And once again, I ask, please, you know, that you pray for this show and for more shows like this to, you know, be coming out for us, okay? These are good, you know, God, what is it? God, I don't know where I'm trying to go, but these are just wonderful shows that just help us keep our mind on the Lord. I mean, seriously, we just need more of that, especially in the world that we're living in. So I just ask, okay, since a lot of y'all be shy about that like button, shy about y'all comments, at least pray, okay? Go into your closet and pray, all right, for this show. So until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.